Hello, good afternoon to all of you out there in social media world, well, and also the real world. Because both Carrie and I know that some of you who may know us are coming to know us are not that far away from us. So in today's episode, I have the pleasure of asking Carrie Jonicus to share her time with me and with you today. So, Carrie, care to say a quick hello to everyone?
Hi, everyone. My name is Carrie Jonicus, and I am the owner of Amplify Transaction Services. We provide listing and transaction management. If you aren't familiar and haven't watched us before, we're so happy you're here with us today.
Right on, right on. And by the way, that was a great handoff of the baton from me to you because I was about to prep you, Carrie, and say, hey, for those who are watching today's episode, maybe for the first time, uh, you magically appeared here because maybe you want to learn something. We aim to help you accomplish that. And we try to entertain you along the way. Right on, Carrie?
Absolutely.
All right, all right. Let's now move the conversation to the serious stuff. And as many of you just heard, Carrie Jonicus is the owner operator. She's the leader of her business, Amplify Transactions. So, Carrie, dumb it down for me. Why Amplify Transactions? Why can Amplify Transactions help our real estate broker friends do more with less time?
We are helping real estate agents get more time in their day by handling that paperwork and the follow up. So once they have an executed contract, they're sending it over to us. We're making sure that we have all documents, initials, signatures. And I will tell you about 98% of the time we are missing initials, documents, signatures. So again, that saves the agent time from going back to getting all of these and tracking these and making sure all parties have copies of them. It's very time consuming. And when we take that off of their plate, they're able to spend more time with their clients or out showing homes, getting more things under contract, or maybe they just want to spend more time with their family. But we're giving more time back to them by being able to handle these things for them.
Yeah, spot on, spot on. And Carrie, sharing my perspective as a lender in any real estate transaction, you are spot on because the details of the contract, making sure things are filled out, there's no blanks, there's nothing to be guessed at. It is so very important, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Just the other day, by the way, I was in a conversation. Actually, I was listening to a conversation between a real estate broker and a real estate attorney. And they were talking about kind of the same thing, which is, hey, it's very important to really button up the details of your real estate contract. And of course, with your team of transaction coordinators, your goal is to make sure that is all buttoned up if the broker agent kind of forgets or is way too busy. And I shared with them that a pet peeve of mine as a lender, a pet peeve is when they have in the contract for seller, you're going to laugh, OOR, owner of record. And I'm like,
Yes.
come on, people. There's this thing called a Google search. Find out who the seller is and drop their names in there. Right?
And it's usually on the property disclosure.
Right on, right on. So it's kind of like pet peeve of mine. So anyway, we can joke about it, but in all seriousness, um, it's important, people. It's really important. Now, to what you do, fast forward to right now, because you are in the thick of it, just like I am. Are you hearing, are you seeing, are you feeling that right now across a lot of hyper local geographies, it's still a seller's market, right?
It's definitely still a seller's market. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, I've had a couple of conversations with some agents about that today, and we're seeing a lot of, even once the buyer is under contract, we're seeing the sellers being pretty firm on the contract is a contract, not making any negotiations. Even with the appraisal, they're just not being very flexible because we are still in a seller's market, and they can go and get another. If this deal falls out, they'll just go get another. So yeah, it's definitely still a seller's market for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And I use the simple metaphor because we're now moving into the season of weddings. It's kind of like the seller saying, "All right, bride, we don't like you anymore. Bridesmaid number one, move up to the plate."
Yes.
Now, talk to me about this. Because of how imbalanced the market is right now, sellers can kind of pick and choose, as we just joked about.
Right.
Does it make what you and your team do any harder? Talk to us about that.
Um, The only way that it really makes things more challenging for us really is that the file then terminates. And so, then that same buyer, then the agent is out. So it leads to terminations, which does cause some extra work for us because then we're working with that same buyer on a couple of different properties instead of just one, which is the
Right.
same for an agent. So really that's the only challenging part on our end.
Okay. Okay. Um, and from what I think I know, it seems like there's a momentum shift where, as far as brokers, there's now the assemblage of these mid to large size teams. Putting you on the spot, Carrie, do you feel that your value is more impactful with a large team of brokers and agents, or does it still apply equal weight, same value to the single broker that's just hitting out of the park and rocking and rolling the real estate world?
Yeah, no, we can provide the same amount of value for a single agent just getting started or someone who is really busy. Obviously, there's more work involved with, on our end when you have a busier team. But as far as the value that we're providing to the agent, we're still providing that same value. Obviously, the agent who is just getting started doesn't have as much work. However, in those cases, they need to spend more time getting themselves. And so the more time that they are in the paperwork, the less time they are with their clients. And I would say just in the last year, we've had a lot more um, agents who are just starting out that are reaching out for our services because they recognize, number one, they don't enjoy paperwork.
Yeah.
And we do. So they want help with that. And then also, they don't want to be behind their computer all day, even if they only have a couple of files going. Because they don't enjoy the paperwork, it does take them a lot longer to do everything to make sure that they're following up. They don't have systems, checklists, processes like we do. And so it does take them longer to do it.
Yeah.
And so less time, out in the field and talking to people and getting things under contract is going to make it more challenging for them to grow their business. So it just kind of fluctuates.
Yeah, yeah, spot on. And I mean, if I were to imagine I am in the shoes of a real estate broker and I'm a solo producer, I can't delegate, some of those tasks to other team members. And there's a part of me where scratching my head, the $1 million question, not that it cost $1 million, but the $1 million question is, do I really want to have an in-house transaction coordinator that I'm kind of, I don't know, responsible for? You see where I'm going? But it's great that you just flat out told me, hey, our service level, our commitment to service level agreement is the same whether you are a team or whether you are a single producer, Bill Chu, John Doe, just hitting out of the park. So love that, love that. In all of those transactions that you do, care to share with our audience today maybe a more complicated transaction where in the back of your mind, when you and your team were in it, you were scratching your head like, oh my gosh, when will this end? Care to enlighten us?
Yeah, I mean, we've had definitely some challenging situations. We deal with a lot of transactions all over, so we definitely have our share of them. I would say one that has really taken the cake has actually been a new construction file.
Really?
And it took a lot of extra communication to communicate with the builder in order to get us to that closing table. There was a lot of challenges with the quality of the construction that the buyer was noting. Specifically, mold was found in the property,
Oh no.
and that was just causing a lot of extra challenges, communication, follow-ups, and unfortunately they weren't great about communication at that time.
Right.
So it did take a lot more. And when I put myself on the agent side, if the agent didn't have a TC to continually be following up with the builder, hey, what's going on, that would have been very challenging. That would have taken up that would be a full-time job basically for the agent, that transaction. It was very difficult. So I just really couldn't even imagine being an agent and having to handle all of that on my own with those follow-ups with that builder in that situation. So I'm grateful that I had the agent that was on my team to get through that challenging situation. And I know, the same goes for that person. They were very grateful that they had someone that can do all of those follow-ups that were needed in order to get that to the closing table. And that led to also, communicating with the client. Here's what the builder said,
Right.
going back and forth. And so that they were aware about what was happening
Right.
with all of the issues that were, occurring.
Yeah. It's great that you share that example with me, with us today, because I will reflect back. When a borrower is looking to me or one of my peers, right, to source financing to build it because they can't find it, which is kind of real right now in today's times. Yes, that level of financing is a lot more involved as well on the lender side. We now have not just traditionally your real estate broker on one side or sometimes both sides, it doesn't matter. But now we have another service provider that's critical. That's the builder, general contractor, and the subs that we have to manage through this process as well. And as you've heard me kind of drop in previous episodes, we laugh about it, but come on, it's true. Real estate is a team sport. And when a team member, for whatever the reasons are, is not pulling on the rope in the same direction with the same level of effort, sometimes it just doesn't go as fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It becomes very challenging when even just one party that isn't communicating real well that you need them to. It definitely takes more time and more effort to be able to get things done than if everyone's working on the same team and communicating effectively, which when there's no transaction coordinator, that falls on the agent, and it becomes difficult for the agent to do when they're trying to show properties, write contracts, negotiate. Those are all things that become really difficult.
Yeah. So to this story, everyone, those of you watching, who may you know, like what Terry and I just shared, who may you know who is tired of getting outbidded, who is tired of writing offers, and they never get to the altar as the bride, right? They're sitting on the sidelines as the bridesmaid. And if you know someone who is running into that challenge, self-serving call to action from both of us. Share what you're watching today with your friend, family member, coworker. Why? Because we can help that person that you know with their build it if you can't find it. So, Carrie, one last question about your business model. I know it's really kind of a dovetail glove fit for real estate brokers and agents. Can it apply to, let's say, a new construction developer?
Yes, absolutely. We can assist with new construction and with a developer that has a large community for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And regardless of whether that developer is in our local time zone, it doesn't matter because you've got a team of resources ready, willing to engage.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. Carrie Janikis and her team of TCs, keeping it short, are ready to help many of you who are brokers and agents do more real estate with less time. And as I just learned today, if you happen to be a developer of new homes, new condos, affordable housing, you can also benefit from her value proposition. It's real simple. Just watch the ticker that is showing in the screen. This is how you can gather more information about Carrie and her business. And in the event that we both can help you, in terms of maybe starting a conversation, you've got a unique problem, unique situation, and back to the spirit of this episode, which is being able to do more with less time. Real simple. Just scan one of our QR codes, or hell, better yet, scan both of the QR codes. We'd be glad to engage you in a personal, private conversation to determine how we can impact your business. Carrie, as we wrap up today, anything more you want to add?
Yeah, no, we would be happy to help anyone who is interested in looking to get more time out of their day. And even if you just want to have a discovery call just to see if it might fit for you, it might not, but I'd be happy to have a conversation if you would like to.
Bingo, bingo. Wonderful call to action, spoken from the heart, Carrie. So wrapping up, until we see each other in the next episode, several weeks out. For today, the sun is out as I see it out my window. You go out there and enjoy it because I'm going to try to as well.
Sounds good. I'm going to do it.
All right. Have a good day, everyone. Until we see each other in the next episode a few weeks out.
Bye.